How's it going, guys? Andy here, and welcome back to the potting shed. And as you can see, it's the end of November, so I thought we'd put in a little bit of festive cheer with some Christmas lights. I think it looks quite cool. I hope it's not flashing. Sometimes lights can be funny on video. Anyway, I digress. Today, I want to talk to you about this little guy here, a Tradescantia. This is Zebrina, and I think it looks pretty cool. I love this plant, and there's a few things going on with this. I actually got my tiny little cutting that had actually fallen off a plant. I noticed it. I was at a DIY store. I noticed it at the bottom of my trolley after I checked out and brought the stuff that I bought, nothing to do with plants. I brought it to the car and realized a tiny little piece of this had obviously dropped off of a previous person's plant or something they'd bought. And I thought, you know what? I wonder if I can save it. So I brought it home and put it in some water, and this is the result. And this is not long at all. This is such a voracious grower, and that's what I love about this thing. So in this video, I want to do a care guide for you. I'm going to give you a species guide, a bit of information about this, and at the same time, I'm going to repot this because although it's not the best time of year, we're coming into Christmas, so it's the winter in here in the UK. But this is such a voracious grower. It's in the inside. It doesn't care. It's going to go crazy anyway. I'm going to look after it and keep it warm. And I don't think it's going to make too much difference for this guy. But as you can see, it's already trailing down past the level of the pot. So this is actually sitting on the floor in my back porch, and it's going to get trodden on any minute now because it's sort of outgrowing this environment. So I want to put it in a type of, can you see that? It's a type of hanging pot. I've got a load of different sizes of these, and they're really handy. It's about the right size for this plant. And what I can do is trim off some of these longer lengths and put them in and make it bush out a little bit more. So it's not too leggy, but it's still those new cuttings will again grow, and then we can adapt it to how we want it. But yeah, so let's get over to the potting bench behind me, and we'll start to repot this, and I'll tell you about the plant and I'll tell you why I love it so much. All right, let's go. Alrighty then, let's get started. So Tradescantia, this is a Zebrina. It's a really nice houseplant to have, especially if you're new to houseplants. It's really easy to grow. It actually can tolerate quite a lot more sun than most houseplants. A lot of houseplants will say it needs a light environment, but not too direct light. Whereas this plant, you can actually put it on the windowsill, and it's really just going to crack on and get on with it. It's quite tolerant to the lights. Average watering for it as well. Just give it a water once a week. If it feels a bit dry within the top inch, give it another water. But again, not that finicky. As you can see here, this has been growing for such a short amount of time, and it's already got lots of lovely growth in it as well. So, you know, it is an easy plant to look after, and they look amazing with these really bright purple backs to the leaves, and the sort of zebra striping to the front of the leaves. They're great fun. And the good thing is they're so easy to propagate. Once you take a cutting, stick it in the pot again, and another bit will grow. So once you end up buying a plant, or you get a cutting from a friend, for example, you're never going to have to worry about buying one again, because you can just take many cuttings and make many plants, give them away to friends and family, whatever you want. They're easy to grow and great fun. So I really would recommend that you give one of these a go. I'll put a link down in the description where you can get one. So I've got the new pot here. These are cool little things. I've reused these so many times. They've got this sort of little drip tray included on it, and it just clips on here, so you can take it off if you need to. But it's great because it keeps the water in here, which means you can use them inside. It's a nice compact size. Just means you can hang it up somewhere. You're not even going to see the pot because this is just going to drape all over it before long. It's going to look amazing. So all we're going to do is carefully take it out of the pot. Just use something. I just use my generic harvest knife for everything, but something to carefully root it out of the pot. Just lift it as you go, so you're not damaging the roots, especially at this time of year. It is a bit colder, although this thing is still actively growing, which is fine. Just carefully lift it out, and we're lifting it back into the new pot with some fresh soil. So I'm just going to put some soil in the bottom of this first, just got my own sort of potting mix that I put together. It's nothing secret really. It's just a mix of normal potting soil with a little bit more John Innes in it as well to give it a little bit more body. And then I like to put in a handful of, let me see here. There we go. That's a handful of perlite, which will just add, it just means that it doesn't sort of get too compact. The texture of the soil stays open, which means you can get air to the roots, which means it will grow nicely as well. So a nice to have, not really essential at all. And a lot of houseplant mixes will have this in it already. Right, let's get cracking, shall we? Let's lift this out. It's going to go around the edge of the pot very carefully just to free off the outsides. And now very carefully lever it out. There's not a huge amount of roots on this at the moment. It's a very new plant anyway, so it's not been in that pot for very long. So actually, let me just put this down for a second. Another good thing about these pots is these pieces here, they just clip on. So they're super easy to unclip. I say that. When you're not trying to demonstrate it to a camera, it is anyway. So they were just a bit easier to plant up now. There we go. Just going to carefully put it in that pot. So you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but where this particular stem has laid down over the potting soil, there has actually been another root forms. It's so voracious, this thing, in terms of rooting and growing. It's fantastic. We'll try and preserve that if we can. I can put it down a bit deeper. Just let it lay on the surface like that. There we go. Now, so that will be okay. There's some more growth at the base there, which is great, but these things will bounce back so quickly because it's fairly new, and it would be nice to fill this pot up. What I'm actually going to do is trim some of these back and put them in here so we can get a more bulky plant, and then obviously it will grow back down again. So that's what I'm going to do now. Let's raise him up a little bit so you can see him a bit better. So with this piece here, you can see there's already an offshoot coming here. So this is a good juncture at this leaf node here to make a cut, and then I know we'll get some more root growth out this side, and that will grow nicely. And so a quick snip there. We've got this. Now you could put this in water and make this root in water, but they're so voracious and so easy. All I'm going to do is just remove this leaf here. Just, if it comes off easily, then you can pull it off. Otherwise, just going to snip it off. In fact, I'll take this one off as well. You don't want too many leaves on your cuttings because the leaves will affect the transpiration, which means the water loss of this cutting here. So if you have too many leaves, it adds load on the cutting, and you only need a few. Like this top 3 is more than enough really. So I'm actually going to take this top one off as well. So this top 3 will be more than enough to produce energy for the plant and keep the sort of the load down and put all its energy into growing some more roots. And as you can see, it's growing at a funny angle, so I'm just going to chop it off at this point so it can grow straight. There we go. So it's a bit more compact, and that will grow away very easily. With my knife, just make a little hole in the soil, pop him in, gently firm him in the soil. Happy days. He will grow away very quickly. He's supported there, and that will develop roots very quickly indeed. I'm just going to do the same for these branches as well. Cut this end off here. Again, just by what we call the leaf node, where you see a natural junction where the leaf is and it forms. Just, you can cut it off there. And there's the best possible place because it's going to create some roots. There we go. Gently place him in. So he's supported by the edge of the pot again. You don't want to press it in too aggressively because that will not allow the roots to grow. So you don't want it too compressed. So just gently, that's why you sort of dib a hole in first and then place it in the hole rather than sort of jabbing it in there, if you see what I mean. I'll do another one on here. Lots of side shoots growing here, so I'm just going to cut that off at the internode. Snip the leaves off. There we go. That's another nice cutting. Now, a lot of other cuttings would appreciate rooting in water and even having maybe some rooting hormone dipped in the bottom to help it with rooting, but this really doesn't need any help. It's such a voracious grower. As long as you keep it a reasonably warm temperature and give it a nice bit of light, this thing will grow away very happily. Now I'm going to point this outwards because it's going to grow in that direction. It's going to grow down, so I'm just going to point that outwards like that. Give it a little bit of space. Gently firm it in like that. So now, rather than two pieces, we've got one on that side, one coming down here with lots of side shoots already, and now we've got 3 extra pieces. So this is very quickly going to fill up this pot, and there will be lots more cuttings to be able to really fill it up and make a very nice looking hanging basket display. So that's all we need to do for now. I'm going to give it a little water just to water it in. It doesn't need too much, but it helps settle the compost in as well. And with this, all we need to do is literally push it on the sides, nice and easy. And that's ready to hang up. So pretty easy. And this now will make a very nice, attractive hanging plant for your home. And it's cost absolutely nothing. Something that would have died in the bottom of a shopping cart outside of a DIY store has now got the opportunity to live its best life as a beautiful trailing tropical houseplant. And it's as simple as that, guys. I would definitely recommend this plant to give it a go. They're super easy to look after. I'm just going to hang this up in my back porch. Plenty of light, really close to the rear French doors that we have there, and I think it will look really nice. All right, I think that pretty much wraps it up for this video. Definitely worth giving one of these a go. Easy to look after, easy to propagate, and will reward you with plenty of attractive growth over many years. So yeah, give it a go for yourself. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you very soon on another video. Bye for now.